Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Mojo Homestead. I am heading out to pick some grapes. They are definitely ripe right now. Wanted to talk about what we do with our grapes because we get them in abundance. Check these things out. They are beautiful looking this year. Really excited about it. So what we're gonna be doing is making grape jam, not jelly. And I wanted to talk about why we do that. I'm gonna start picking some grapes, get them harvested, and then we'll go inside and get started. So one reason why we like to do jam as opposed to the grape jelly is because if you don't know, jelly is made from the juices. So basically you gotta get like grape juice and then add sugar to it, add the pectin, all of that stuff. Jam is made from the actual fruit pieces. So grape jelly is typically what you'll find, but the jam is really good. The part of the fruit that is used in jam is this right here, just the skin. So you really do have to have slip skin grapes. They are the ones that you can't really eat through. Like if you're familiar with muscadines or something like that, that's a slip skin grape. And when they cook down, they do get soft and they are edible. And it adds a good texture to it, which is why I really like it. So I'm gonna get these finished up and we'll go inside. All right guys, before we head in, I just wanted to show you what we got. So that is about half of what's actually on the grapes vines still. The other thing that we do with all of the other grapes is make grape vinegar. Great way to preserve them, great way to use them, and it gives us vinegar, which makes a wonderful mild vinegar for any of your like cooking, salad dressings, anything like that. If you're interested in how we do that, be sure to let us know in the comments below. But for now, we're gonna get this jam started. All right, so to get started, we are going to wash our grapes, obviously. There are oftentimes little spiders and stuff that can get inside. So you just wanna check for all of that as you're washing them. Rinse them off really good. Check for any bad ones. And this is also when you're just going to look for any that may be overripe. So once you get that, you're gonna pull them off. The recipe calls for 8 cups of stemmed grapes. Again, you do want to use a slip skin grape. After you get all of the grapes picked off of the bunch and individualized, now comes the fun part. This is when you're gonna separate the inside from the peeling. This is kind of a time-consuming process, but just sit down, have fun, enjoy it. All you do is squeeze them. The insides are gonna pop out, seeds and all, if your grapes do have seeds in them, and you're gonna put that in one pot and put the skins in another pot. You do wanna have just enough water to basically cover the bottom in the skins pot. You don't want them sitting directly on there with no water in it because they will burn. Once you get them all separated out in their individual pots, now is time to start that boiling process. So you're gonna wanna bring the pulp pot to a boil and then turn it down and kind of let it simmer for about 10 minutes. You're gonna wanna keep stirring frequently through this entire process just to keep it from burning on the bottom. Once that pulp has really juiced down and you can't see the individual grapes and the seeds have separated, you're done. Now you're gonna do pretty much the same thing with the skins. You're going to bring it to a boil, then turn it down, keep it at a really low boil, kind of a simmer, but you're gonna cover the skins. You don't really have to keep an eye on them and stir them. You do wanna make sure they're not sticking to the bottom, but again, boil most of that water out, and this is also going to take about 10 minutes. So this is something that's easy to do at the same time so that you can keep an eye on the skins while you are stirring the pulp. Once the pulp has cooked all the way down, now it's time to separate it out so that you don't end up with those seeds in your grapes. Now we have an old sieve that we got from a friend, and that's what we're using. We pour it in there, it strains all the liquid out, and then with the wooden mallet or dowel or whatever it is, I don't know what this is called. If you guys know what it's called, please tell me in the comments. I just know that I really like this tool. It's really cool. It's It's really nifty. And so this is what we use for it. So basically all you do with this particular one is kind of roll it around the sides. And what that does is mashes all that pulp through the little holes, but the seeds all stay in there. Once you get that pulp in there, now it's time to add the sugar. You're going to add 6 cups of sugar. Oftentimes we do cut back on this a little bit. I feel like most jams and jellies are a little bit too sweet for me, but for this particular batch, I'm gonna go ahead and do the full amount of sugar that it calls for. Once you get that sugar added in, the rest of the process is really easy, but you are gonna wanna keep an eye on it. The great thing about this jam is it doesn't require pectin. So literally the only cost that we have in this entire thing is just the sugar. You're gonna bring it to a boil over medium heat, stirring constantly to dissolve the sugar. Then you're gonna boil, stirring frequently until the mixture thickens. Now, the most accurate way to tell that it has reached gel stage is to get it to 220 degrees Fahrenheit or 104 degrees Celsius. From here, you're gonna prepare your canning jars. Make sure you wipe those rims just to make sure there's nothing there. And also you're checking for any cracks or imperfections because you wanna make sure you get a good seal. Prepare those lids. You're gonna fill these jars with your hot jam. Leave 1/4 of an inch of headspace at the top. Clean them, make sure there's nothing there. Put those lids on, finger tight, and then tighten down a little bit more. You don't want it too tight, but you do want it pretty secure so no water gets in there. Put them in your water bath. Make sure you've got about an inch of water over the jars. Put that lid on and wait for it to come to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, you're going to process these things for 10 minutes if you've used an 8-ounce jar, which is a small jelly jar. If you're using a larger one, you do want to do it for about 15 or 20 minutes. This particular recipe only has the time for an 8-ounce jar. All right, guys, final stage. So it has been processing for the right amount of time. So all that's left to do is take that top off, turn the heat off, and you're just gonna let it sit for at least 5 minutes just to start to cool down. Remove those cans, and you're good to go. You do wanna let them sit on a towel for at least 12 hours just to get a really good seal on it. Once they seal, you can take those rings off. Doesn't matter, you can store them without the rings. That's how we do it. But then you're good. You've made a batch of grape jam. This jam is so good. The skins that we leave in there are like little pieces of candy inside the jam. It's so good. That's why I like the jam so much. Also, you utilize more of the fruit, which I don't think I really touched on before, but that's why we prefer the jam over jelly, because you're just utilizing more of it. So I feel like you're getting a little bit more of the benefits, even though it's so laden in sugar. But there's got to be something there health-wise. So thank you guys for hanging out with me today. Hope this inspires you to start canning if you have not canned. Jelly is the easiest, or jam is the easiest thing to start with those things. It's just a water bath canning. It's not a pressure canning. Super easy, super safe. Anyone can do it. Hope you guys have a great week and be blessed.